قال إنني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون قالوا لئن أكله الذئب ونحن عصبة إنا إذا لخاسرون. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على النبي المصطفى المجتبى. My beloved brothers and sisters, continuing from where we left off, we mentioned previously that they began to explore different options in how to get rid of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, and then at the end they said to themselves, after we get rid of him, we will all become righteous individuals. Allah then tells us that there was one of the brothers who had other thoughts with regards to what to do with Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. He's in this predicament now. All of his brothers are exploring different options in how to get rid of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Perhaps the only option that he has is the lesser of the two evils. And this is a very, very important principle in our deen. Sometimes we're in a predicament and there's no third option. So we have to do one of two things, right? And both of them may actually be that which is displeasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. But because we don't have a third option, we have to trigger the lesser of the two evils. And this is a very important principle in our deen. He suggested that you don't kill Yusuf. لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب يلتقطه بعض السيارة إن كنتم فاعلين. But rather, maybe throw him in a well. And the travelers that are walking past, they may find him, right? If there is anything you're going to do, then maybe think about this particular option, right? Which is the lesser of the two evils, that you kill him, a brother of yours. No matter how much hatred you have for someone, would you really want it to lead to murder? Right? There's still a lot of hope after he's thrown in this well that perhaps he will be found and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take him to a place that is maybe perhaps better for him. So this is what he suggested to them, and then they approached their father. The father, my brothers and my sisters, was extremely possessive over Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. So they said to him, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف. Why is it that you don't trust us with Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam? وإنا له لناصحون. We're going to give him sincere advice. أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. Let him come with us tomorrow. We're going to go and play, right? And we're going to look after him. We're going to take good care of him. قال إني. So Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam responded by saying, لَيَحْزُنُنِي أَن تَذْهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَخَافُ أَن يَأْكُلَهُ الذِّئْبُ. It would sadden me that if you took him and then he was eaten by a wolf. وَأَنْتُمْ عَنْهُ غَافِلُونَ. While you are all distracted playing, right? قالوا لئن أكله الذئب ونحن عصبة إنا إذا لخاسرون. So the response was, if he is then eaten by a wolf while we are such a big group, we would indeed be from amongst those who are at loss, right? How can he be taken by a wolf? How can he be attacked by a wolf and there is all of us? We're going to be taking good care of him, right? We're going to look after him. Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, extremely hesitant, not knowing whether he should allow them to take Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, right? And of course, every child is in need of having that time where he goes out and plays, especially when he sees now all of his brothers going, and you're holding one of them back. That might not necessarily always be the best of ideas, especially now if this young child is watching all of his brothers leaving, and he might end up making him feel a certain way, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَجْمَعُوا أَنْ يَجْعَلُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. So then they left, and they agreed amongst themselves that they would throw him in a well. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ. So we sent revelation down upon Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam to allow them to take him. Subhanallah al-Azim, Subhanallah al-Azim, Subhanallah al-Azim. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is one of my favorite parts of Surah Yusuf. Right? In Surah Yusuf, we are told 4 times that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim and Al-Hakim. These 2 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are mentioned 4 times. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-knowing and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-wise. And it's as if one is taking a stroll through Surah Yusuf under the shadow of these 2 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Alim and Al-Hakim. You might ask this question, why would Allah Azza wa Jal reveal to Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam to allow them to take Yusuf when He's all-knowing that they are now going to harm him, this prophet of his, right? Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow that to take place? It is a question that bothers many, my brothers and my sisters. Why do we see all of this evil taking place? If there's really a God, shouldn't He stop all of this evil taking place? This is when the second name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes in extremely handy. Yes, Allah Azza wa Jalla is knowing of everything. He knows that which took place. He knows that which is taking place. He knows that which is going to take place. And if something is going to take place, how it would take place. While at the same time, Allah Azza wa Jalla is all-wise. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most wise, my brothers and my sisters? From amongst those who have wisdom. How many a time, my brothers and my sisters, have we been in a position where we thought that it was the best thing for us? We tried our utmost best to acquire it, right? We thought that there's nothing better for us than that which we were looking to acquire, right? I'll bring the example that perhaps many can relate to. There is a sister that you so desperately want, or there's this brother that is your Prince Charming, you think, right? No one on the face of this earth is more convenient or more befitting as a spouse for you. This is how you're thinking. You try everything in your power to acquire the other half, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. And then you're left heartbroken. To make things even more worse, your best friend comes along and he snatches her from under your nose, which leaves you in a more difficult situation. Years go by, Allah Azza wa Jal blesses you with a woman that has traits and characteristics that the mind couldn't imagine. And this is when you say, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have this today. How many a time have we been in that situation, my brothers and my sisters? Some of our parents come from war-stricken countries, war-torn, but now they're in a much better place. However, did it really cross their minds that perhaps because of this war, they would be in a better position 20, 30 years down the line? Right? And the examples are many. There's a sheikh that I know of, right? A war took place in his hometown, and then he was, right, forced out of his beloved home. Where did he end up? As a teacher in the Prophet ﷺ's masjid, right? From being driven out of his home, right, where he was in Africa, and now an African, my brothers and my sisters, in one of the most sacred places on the face of this earth, is teaching the Arabs, right? Everything happens for a reason. If you feel that you are maybe going through a marriage breakdown, if you feel that you are being mistreated by the most closest of people to you, and that they are on the verge of leaving you, remember, my brothers and my sisters, everything happens for a reason. Not so long ago, I was about to go lead Taraweeh in one of the Western countries abroad, right? However, I wasn't able to leave the airport. Subhanallah, even though from the apparent it felt very disappointing, but I kept on reminding myself everything happens for a reason. I really wanted to lead Taraweeh. from day 1 up until day 30. But what was to come after that was something that I never imagined, and He brought so much goodness to me later on. Everything happens for a reason. Even the people that die at times in front of us, right? It all happens for a reason. Why is it that we fail to accept, my brothers and my sisters, that our intellects are limited? You wouldn't dispute that your eyes are limited to what you can see. I don't think anyone can see that which is happening 2-3 miles from where you're watching this video. What you can hear is limited. What you can smell is limited. You accept that. Why is it that you fail to understand that also your intellect is limited? Allah is all-knowing of everything, and everything happens for a reason, whether you see the good in it or not. And a lot of the time, years go by, we say, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have this today. How many people have I come across? The divorces that I went through was perhaps maybe the best ever thing that happened to them, right? And they wouldn't have what they have today, right? Some people lost their jobs, but because Allah Azza wa Jal has something better waiting in store for them. Don't look at it as Allah Azza wa Jal hating you, but rather look at it as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanting to bring you back up stronger, and that He has something better waiting in store for you. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless you all and allow us to really comprehend and internalize these two great names of Allah. Innahu huwa al-alimul hakim. He is all-knowing and He is all-wise. See you in the next episode. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There was even a time, subhanAllah, I got a phone call from this brother, crocodile tears, right? Saying all sorts of things about his wife. He sent me a location. When I arrived, it was in the middle of nowhere, the middle of a car park. I'll never forget this day. I parked up, I'm looking around, and I see this brother walking towards me with his hands behind his back. I honestly thought that this was an assassination attempt, as he's walking towards me, thinking, what is this guy holding?
إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر